The next news. The prison hospital psychiatrist Anastasia Potorochina, who was caught in systematic, particularly sadistic, unimaginable torture of prisoners, thus killing at least 21 people in a psychiatric hospital. She, of course, requested to join the special military operation. These are the latest news from Russia. Or let's take an even more amusing thing. Not just anywhere. And let me clarify right away, this is not a joke. This is not a parody. This is not a prank. It's an absolute Russian reality. Not just anywhere in the lower Perdishi region, but in the city of St. Petersburg, a so-called, historically known as, referred to as Dad, Smersh. These are voluntary, anti-abortion squads, and Smersh in this case stands for death to sluts. This organization was created based on the Union of Women of Russia, officially created. It will be engaged in capturing and exposing vaginal evaders and uterine tumyat. And special patrols will be deployed to protect the values, which will, well, comb through. First of all, the Medu through women's consultations, as well as the leisure establishments and the restrooms of bars and restaurants. Look, on my Telegram channel, there is quite an official announcement that there will be various raids and databases of medical institutions will be compiled. Databases of women are prone to abortion. That is, such women will be targeted for direct work, visiting them both at home, at women's homes and at their workplaces. And these ladies who plan to patrol intend to seriously tackle demographics, creating a list of prostitutes with whom they need to fight, as well as blacklists of abortion doctors and women who do not wish to become pregnant for the sake of victory in Russia. However, the authority of such patrols is not yet fully understood. The women themselves, of course, wish to obtain exclusive rights, such as tearing off contraceptives, shaming draft dodgers at their place of residence and work, and also, well, naturally, physically prevent and not allow any coitus interruptus. And there are powerful ideologists in this Dad, and they are already seriously talking about those fighters who in 20 years will go to war and sacrifice themselves for Russia. They must be born right now, because ahead of Russia are at least 40, 50, 60 years of continuous wars. And this is, in general, a very frivolous statement. And this frenzy of the all-Russian womb is also, but based on nothing, particularly unfounded for me, because it's unclear. That is, it's already clear how it will all end, but it's unclear why this hysterical demography is needed. In general, any breeder, every animal husbandry expert knows that before breeding anything, one should understand if there is a need for such a type of livestock. Remember the craze for Pidgik, but back then it really seemed like the fashion for Pidgik hats would be eternal. And then the animal farms in the north were forced to dispose of them. Hundreds of thousands of young reindeer, which they had bred in large numbers. Pidgik is a reindeer calf up to 6 months old. I remember those mounds of reindeer carcasses that suddenly became unnecessary. Even though the USSR's state plan envisioned the passing of Pizik hats through generations. But back then, at least there was a fashion for hats. Remember, how Rihanna in the 90s, enticed by the size and weight of the eggs, everyone rushed to breed ostriches. Ostrich farms were popping up everywhere, and ostrich breeders were even more common than shuttle traders, rock musicians, and members of the Writers' Union. Why now, at this moment, with an absolutely and completely uncertain and guaranteed bleak future, does Russia demand that every womb be filled with the future of corpses? Russia definitely has no chance of surviving another 20 years. And then all this offspring will clearly become unnecessary. And the trend of non-commercial human breeding will look very, very mysterious.